Let's hit it.
いらっしゃいませ。ありがとうございました。いらっしゃいませ。ありがとうございました。
This is it.
Yeah.
Out.
Better be careful here. Suspicious. What the? Hey. Suspicious.
Hey, where'd that new guy get taken to?
I heard Akutsu-san.
For real? Was he taken to the VIP room then?
Sounds like it.
Even I've never gotten in there. What makes him such a big shot?
Sorry, man. Take a quick breather.
Hey, you there!
Yes? Can I help you?
You better stop fucking around. Didn't I ask you for another round?
Huh? Another round?
You forgot my order already? I want my bottle.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Wait a minute. You know what? Fuck the bottle. How about you just mix me a cocktail?
But of course, Here, sir.
Too close. Too close.
今のは燃えるぜ。
Too close.
That's a good boy.
Lala.
Time out. Take a nap, bud.
I hate to say it, Akutsu. I'm in a price bracket you couldn't afford if you wanted to.
I'm not saying you'd need to call it quits on the detective gig you've got going, Kaito-san. You can just give us a hand, help us out a bit when RK needs some real muscle on the field.
That a fucking joke? On what planet would I sign up for more busy work?
Think you might want to tone it down there, big guy? I've got my boys in the room. Being talked to like this isn't a good look.
Why would you care how you look? You're a bunch of damn Yakuza. You and Soma are picking up the Tojo clan's scraps, yeah? Or do you have a real plan?
We'd have the manpower if we wanted to.
With all your washed-up Yakuza and punk-ass kids? I don't see it happening, man. What are you fucking thinking?
Exactly why we need more guys like you. Help me show this crew how the big boys roll. I need some authority on this to get it built the right way.
So you want me on as a drill sergeant for scumbags? Count me out.
Kamurocho's underground river of cash is still flowing, but there's no more Tojo clan upstream to collect it all. There's no more rules. We can run this town however the fuck we want. And once we've got ours, we can slip back into civilian lives to live it up clean as a whistle.
You want to be a civilian again? You're kidding.
Oh yeah. Want to have the cash to buy your favorite store, pop out a couple of kids and settle down with a family? Never would have been possible in the Yakuza life.
Well, why the fuck would you need me to do that? After you step into the shadow of the underworld, you never really escape from those chains. Don't sell me your bullshit like I'm one of your fucking brats. Huh. Sounds to me like your whole damn pitch just ran out of gas. Go out there and build your dream gang if you want. I don't give a shit. That said, if you keep bugging me about this shit, I'm gonna make sure you regret it. Keep your fucking distance from us.
Did you say us? Are you refusing to join up because you have a partner? Bring Yagami along for all I care.
Did you hear a word of what I just said?
I'd reconsider that stance if I were you. If you aren't coming along as a friend, then you're my enemy.
I don't take work from assholes.
Have it your way, then. Hey, round up the boys.
Sir. Hey! Get off your asses!
Too late for that. I knew exactly how this little chat was gonna go down.
Son of
Yeah, well, I knew exactly where you'd be for a chat you weren't invited to.
Well, if you're done over there, shall we get back down to business?
You're not walking out of here.
If you don't know how to use that thing, you're gonna cut yourself, man. You sure?
You fuckers are the ones who don't know shit. This whole damn town belongs to the arcade now, you know.
Now the whole town belongs to you, huh? You fucking morons. You're gonna have to pry this town out of my hands!
Come on! Sit down there!
Hey, quit dragging your ass!
Right! Sorry, boss. Yo! Buck 'em up, boys!
dumbass, you down already?
No, sir. Come on, let's fucking do this!
Let go! Let's go! You need to listen.
Now I understand why you wanted Kaito on your side.
Still got anything you want to say, Akutsu?
I can appreciate your perspective on this, Kaito.
In that case, you better leave us the hell alone.
Yeah, we can do that. We get it. It's fine. Right, Akutsu?
Why are you here? Aren't you busy?
Just checking in. You made quite a mess here.
Tak, meet Soma. He's the leader of the RK.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
You keep saying we, but I don't think you know what's going on. You just gonna waltz in here and bark orders?
Kaito-san turned down your offer, didn't he? And The other guy is Yagami from his own detective agency. Before that, he was an accomplished lawyer. Now he's with Kaito-san independently.
It's my job to be running HQ, though. You shouldn't roll up unannounced.
I'm supposed to leave you to your own devices? I do have to check in, at least to show my face.
Got a cold?
It's a dust allergy, actually. Tough thing to live with. And I used to catch hell for it in the Yakuza. Quit that infernal sniffling, they'd say.
Yeah, that couldn't have been easy, man. I bet they would beat the shit out of you if you didn't blow your nose.
You know it. I do wish we'd had the time to work together, Kaito-san. You as well, Yagami-san. It may feel like we're a small-time outfit in the immediate term, but RK will grow. We'll show you. But in the meantime, we'll leave the two of you be. Does that work?
Finally, some sense. Best of luck with the growth. As the leader here, you need brains and brawn.
Something else?
Your gang was out there searching for some guy in a picture. Well, how'd that hunt end up turning out? He was some kind of girls' bar manager, wasn't he? It sounded like he'd disappeared from Kamurocho more than a few years back. You have any luck tracking him down?
We actually found that he's unfortunately dead. Likely murdered. Considering Kamurocho's reputation and the nature of his profession, I can't say I'm all that surprised.
Got it. I guess I was just kind of curious.
Always happy to oblige a detective.
I guess we shouldn't have taken RK so lightly, even though they're new to the scene.
Yeah. Supposedly Selma's the one who spearheaded the campaign to scoop up all the ex-Tojo. Turns out he's teaching the next generation of thugs about protection money, loan sharking, mugging. He's like an unemployment agency for shitheads. They've got 50 full-time bodies so far, but if you include part-timers and other associates, they may be well over 2,000 strong.
That's a lot. Even half that's a lot.
The Yakuza left behind a gaping power vacuum in this town. Even if it wasn't RK, someone else would have swooped in. So much for peace and quiet in Kamurocho, huh?
Sorry, son's calling. Hello?
It's Shirosaki. Sorry for the wait. I found our file on Ahara's victim.
Ah, Mamiya-san, right? Yui Mamiya?
Yes, she lives with her family in East Ikebukuro. I'm about to make a quick house call.
Awesome. Then I'll be right over.
Good. See you sooner than later, I hope.
I caught all that. You go on ahead, Doc. This one's outside my area of expertise.
Okay. I'll head back to the office when I'm done.
Oh, perfect timing, Yagami-san. And here I was about to go without you. Are you ready to visit Mamiya-san? Remember, we're speaking to a victim here, Yagami-san. One whose assailant we defended in court. If we had tried to make an appointment, she probably would have declined outright.
Not sure showing up unannounced is much better. So let's just hope she's willing to talk.
Yes, there's no way around it. It's a risk we had to take.
Well, here goes nothing.
Yes?
I'm Shirasaki from the Genda Law Office, the attorney for Mr. Akihiro Ehara. You may remember me from the hearings.
Why are you here? Don't you know it's rude to show up at someone's door uninvited?
I understand, but we have a pressing matter that directly concerns you. If we could do this another way, we would. I apologize for any inconvenience.
I'm sorry, but the trial's over and done with. You know I can legally turn you away.
You're right, but I'm only asking a moment of your time. Please, would you mind?
I don't have time for this. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Wait, before you do that. Sorry to butt in. I'm Yagami, a detective helping Saori here out.
And?
Are you aware of the trending video that's leading people to believe Ehara committed murder? Thing is, the victim was confirmed to be alive in Yokohama until the morning of your own incident. And since Ehara was on the train with you, they're ruling him out as a murder suspect.
So, what is it you're getting at?
Just trying to ensure you're in the clear from any of that unfortunate business. If we could do this now, we'd never bother you again. All we need is 10 minutes of your time.
How absurd.
We're only trying to help, but if later would work better for you, we could always come back another time. With our supervisor, of course. That visit would probably be more formal. There'd be paperwork, audio tapes, you know the drill. You'll want to clear your schedule.
I really don't have time for any of that.
No, I understand, and it's entirely our fault. We thought we'd do this casually, but we really should have been more by the book. But it is a murder case, so we do have to make sure our paperwork is in order here. Now, would you prefer to schedule a date to accommodate a more formal interview?
You said 10 minutes if we do it now, right?
We'll make it as painless as possible.
All right. Hold on.
We really do appreciate it.
Well, I'm impressed. I'm also not sure I should trust a word you say ever again.
Really? I did get us in the door, didn't I?
I'm joking. I do appreciate the help. Now let's not screw this up. This is likely the only conversation we'll have with Mamiya-san.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Again, we apologize for the intrusion.
Let's just get this over with already.
Okay, bye-bye.
We'll make this quick.
Hey.
Uh-huh. What the? Uh-huh. 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 Suspicious. What the? Suspicious. What the?
So, Doc, I've already told the police and the court everything they could want to know.
I'm sorry to put you through this again, but would you mind—
What else is left to discuss?
I understand how
I've gone over this so many times.
No,
I wonder if
what you did was both brave and inspirational. Many victims are afraid to come forward. Your voice might give them courage to find their—
Ironic. Hearing this from that predator's
Well,
Would you mind walking us through that day from the—
It's nothing so mysterious. I was just on my way to work when some man grabbed my butt. That's all it was.
Nothing else was out of the ordinary that day?
Correct.
Not to pry, but where is your husband today?
Still at work? He usually doesn't get home until later. On that note, I have to feed my son, so let's get this wrapped up soon.
We'll try our best to. Moving along. On that day, you and Ahara-san boarded the train bound for Ikebukuro, correct? Had you ever seen the man before then?
No. At least not that I can recall. How many times must I go over this? Your lawyer friend here already knows everything. What do you gain by getting me to repeat?
That's the thing. Yagami-san here is a specialist. He can take whatever you repeat, analyze it, and draw up an entirely new conclusion.
Of course. That's exactly why I'm... In the security footage as you stepped onto the train, it looks like Ihara-san stepped right behind you. Were you aware of his presence at this point?
I was. It felt like someone kept pushing up against me with no sense of personal boundaries. I remember second-guessing myself at the time, thinking it was normal for the train to be that packed.
Then the train took off while you were stuck in that situation.
Yes. And then I felt the back of his hand against. It kept getting worse from there, to the point where he went under my skirt. And the pig had the nerve to write it off as an accidental brush on a crowded train. But that kind of touch wasn't accidental. He even grabbed at me.
Truly awful. And I do sympathize. I've also had to turn in an abuser like that. Personally speaking, some men can't wait to debase themselves at the first opportunity.
Why would you say that and look at me?
I just stood there, frozen. I couldn't see who was touching me. I had no idea what to do. I wanted to scream. But what if he just played it off? So I decided I would bear it till the next station.
Are you okay, Mommy?
I'm fine, sweetie. We're just having a bit of grown-up talk. Are you hungry?
Uh-huh.
Then go read your book and wait over there for Mommy.
You said the abuse lasted the entire 6 minutes between Ikebukuro and Shinjuku Station. Did you see the groper's face at any time during that span?
No. I was too terrified to look. And I thought, even if I did, he'd just pull away and escape. But just as the train was pulling into Shinjuku, I reached back and grabbed the hand on me. That's when I saw his face. Of course, he shook me off as the doors opened, but I'd already gotten a clear look at him. He must have known I could turn him in at that point. So he ran, and I chased after.
Right. That was captured by the station security.
Great job tailing him in such a crowded space. On that note, did you ever happen to lose sight of Ihara-san while running?
His cap was pretty easy to spot, and no one else was bolting off the platform like that, so I never lost sight of him. At that point, I could feel my voice returning, so I just screamed. That man grabbed me!
I'm glad there were good Samaritans nearby.
For sure. And there were a lot of smartphones out, so I figured there was no way for him to get away with it.
I see. I think I've got the gist of it. But now we've got a piece of evidence that contradicts what you've told us.
What do you mean?
Well, on the same day, at 6:30 a.m. in Yokohama, a student teacher named Hiro Mikoshiba was sent off to work by his mother. But he was soon abducted near his home, only to be found dead much later in Ijincho.
Is that...
According to the video, Ihara-san here is the murderer.
What?
He killed Mikoshiba in cold blood to get vengeance for his bullied son. His kid was about to graduate high school, but instead, he took his own life. So Ihara took it upon himself to punish his son's tormentor.
That's awful.
But now we come back to the issue here. If this footage is authentic, then Ihara-san couldn't have been your assailant. The victim's estimated time of death and Ihara-san's time of arrival in Tokyo simply don't allow for it. It's just not possible for someone to make that commute. But there's the flip side. If Ahara-san was in fact your assailant, it would mean this murder footage is a fabrication.
I don't know what you expect me to say after all this.
Right? Now you know how we're feeling. That's why we came to see if you had any leads for us.
So that's what this is about.
After hearing your story, I have no doubt you endured a lot that day. Which would obviously mean that murder video was faked.
Then, who shared that video? And why?
Wish I knew. Based on the quality, something this convincing would need quite a budget. Whether it's CG on top of real murder footage, or just a rock-solid AI creation, no way it was cheap. So why go through all this effort to fake a murder? Who would benefit from it? But I have to say, I feel much closer to piecing this puzzle together with your help today. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, and rest assured, this will be the last time. And for dredging up.
It's fine.
I'd like to report Mamiya-san's account to the rest of the team.
Sure.
Can I?
Let me give
All right, then I'll see.
Yo, me.
Hey, I just got back to Kamurocho.
All good here, man. What's with you? You worried Arcade got to me or something?
I mean, they did run their mouths about stabbing us in the back. But if you're... Anyway, I'm heading to Genda so Sari-san and I can go over what we learned from Mami.
You're the boss. As for me...
Are we ready, Yagami-san? Let's start with our visit to Mamiya-san.
Yeah, let's start there.
So, the victim's story is completely in line with...
That's correct. There wasn't
Unfortunately.
In which case, should we look into the murder video instead? Like, figure out how they made it?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Whether that tape's fake or real, someone had to put it online, right? Do we have any theories on who...
Well, the footage showed enough of the surroundings to make the crime scene clear. As somebody who's been there, I can confirm that the blood splotches match what you see in the footage. The murderer's accomplices have to be the ones who posted it for him.
Yeah. I can't see it any other way.
I also agree with Yagami-san.
But in that case, what would their motive be?
Maybe they wanted to make a mockery of the police, or even the whole system.
Huh?
We know Ihara got himself convicted for groping, so he'd have an out. But then, his conspirators turned it around by uploading the murder video on, almost as if to say, look how he got away with it.
I see. Yeah, that does make it sound like he's taunting them.
That's well and good. But I'd like to shift gears. Let's talk about the actual fabrication of the video.
Well, the true culprit would be taped murdering Mikoshiba. Then Ihara's face would be copied and blended onto the killers. That's how they'd approach it in a Hollywood movie.
But then, wouldn't you be able to see traces of it being faked?
Tsukumo-san reported that he's found nothing of the sort in his analysis.
We've been down this road before. If we take the stance that the footage is fabricated, we have absolutely nothing to work with.
Then let's tackle this from the stance that the video's actually real. If that's the case, there has to be a flaw in the groping issue. I think we've collected enough evidence to...
Before meeting with Yui Mamiya, didn't you mention the possibility of Ihara? Perhaps the real Ihara murdered Mikoshiba in Ijincho, then swapped places with the imposter so he could be detained.
But we couldn't find an opportunity for the swap to happen, remember? From the moment he set foot on the Ikebukuro platform, Ihara was constantly on camera.
But wait, that's not entirely accurate, is it?
Huh?
What do you think this evidence indicates?
Ihara's transit card. That just shows he passed through the Ikebukuro station gate at 7:43 a.m. Its timestamp matches the security camera footage, so we know it's accurate.
Then, if Ihara committed the murder at 7:30 a.m. in Yokohama, no way he could have made it to Ikebukuro 13 minutes later.
I think we're all aware of that by now.
Okay, hang on. Let me start from... Remember how we mocked up a diagram of the Shinjuku station platform?
Yeah. Oh, wait! That's it! You could be onto something. There's a point where Ihara wasn't on camera at all.
What is this point you speak of?
Let's all go over the diagram so that everything will be clear. Here's what I want you to see. Hey. It's very brief, but there's a moment where Ihara and Mamiya-san can't be seen by the security cameras. The dotted lines on the arrow represent the camera's blind spot.
It does appear so. So you're saying this is where the groper, the fake Ihara, traded places with the real one?
Can't say it's impossible, right?
Right. Except if that actually happened, Mamiya-san would have been right behind them at the time. Could the two really swap places without her noticing?
In a crowd like that, I think it's feasible.
If that really was Ihara's plan, then I'd say he was being careless.
Careless? How?
Well, on the day of the incident, the station was packed for morning rush hour. That means there was no solid guarantee the assailant could make the switch. He could have been nailed by any random passerby before reaching the blind spot.
Good point. Not only that, if Mamiya-san had called for help while the train was still moving, then the first Ihara would have been caught before even reaching the platform.
Oh, I mean, yeah! Called it.
Think about it, Yagami-san. Why would Ihara's accomplices meticulously plan out every last detail of this alibi, only to leave such a crucial component to chance, as Hoshino-kun pointed out?
Oh, just doing my job.
True. Good work, Hoshino-kun. In fact, I think that may back up my own take on it.
Yeah?
What if everything, including the appearance of leaving the plan to chance, was part of the plan?
Can you expound on that?
I'm saying I agree that such an airtight alibi wouldn't have allowed for contingencies. And that takes the question to another level. Just how far did they line up the pieces in advance to make the swap work?
Are you saying there's more to it than we discussed? What did we miss?
Hiro Mikashiba has to still be alive, meaning the body found in Ijincho was someone else's.
Well, Kanagawa PD already determined that the body belonged to Hiro Mikoshiba. The body had been decomposing for 2 months, but they were still able to match his prints and dental records.
Of course.
Was that all? You made it sound like you had this whole thing figured out.
No, hang on. Something just hit me. Ihara secured his alibi for the murder by swapping with a stand-in at the Shinjuku station blind spot. For them to be able to pull that off, a certain possibility comes to mind.
Right, so what exactly would that be?
Mikoshiba was actually murdered in Kamurocho. The place used in the murder footage, maybe it was dressed up to look like the vacant building in Ijincho. That way, the murder could have taken place less than 13 minutes from Ikebukuro.
I don't mean to shoot you down, but I just don't think that's feasible.
So, no?
If you want a yes or no answer, it's a no.
Was that all? You made it sound like you had this whole thing figured
hang
out.
on. Ahara, for them to be able to pull...
Right, so...
Every last bit of footage, from the eyewitness recordings to the security cameras, was fabricated. If that's the case, the blind spot we found, that's because the real footage of Ahara tagging in for his double is all but lost to us now.
Why would the prosecution go to...
Or maybe they sympathized with...
You're saying his court adversaries orchestrated an...
Alright, I realize that's a stretch.
Was that all?
No, hang on. Ahara, for them to be able...
Right.
I know this won't go over well, but what if Mamiya was colluding with Ahara all along?
Huh?
Bear with me. Let's say Mamiya was in on this, and knew about the imposter in advance. If that's the case, the swap could happen right in front of her, and no one but the three of them would know.
You're saying the victim of a groping conspired with her assailant beforehand? That's ridiculous.
Let me just say, I'm only trying to work out how a swap like that would be guaranteed to work. Now, if Ahara and his stand-in both know that Mamiya will pretend not to have seen them, they can trade places in the blind spot with impunity. Conversely, if Mamiya wasn't in on the plan, the idea of a swap would never work. We can say with certainty that she would have seen the swap, so... She could have even called attention to the real Ahara the moment he stepped in. That way, the people around her would be focused on chasing the correct assailant. The rest is as we know it. They caught Ahara and detained him until the police showed up.
Hold that thought. If your theory is accurate, what about Ahara's trace evidence? Remember that fibers of the victim's underwear were detected on his hand.
Well, that can also be explained by Mamiya being in on the plan. For example, while the stand-in was showing himself with the security cameras, Mamiya could have easily provided Ahara access to a pair of underwear at the same time. Maybe the stand-in loitered around for so long because he was letting everyone else get themselves in place.
It's not impossible.
We can work out the other details later. But the point is, Ahara's murder alibi is shot if Mamiya was involved. In summary, it's possible Ahara disgraced himself to secure an unshakable alibi for Mikushiba's murder.
I'll concede that it's an avenue worth pursuing.
And when it comes to the prosecution, they can't just admit they got the first case so wrong. Plus, they can't question Ahara about Mikushiba's murder. In fact, their only option is to claim the tape was fake.
So he managed to make a farce out of the system after all.
Well, his court case for his son's bullying did get more or less thrown at school. The investigative committee and the court all agreed. No surprise for me that the guy held a grudge against the system for so long.
Hold on. Before we all decide
What's
on
up?
this, the obvious question to me is why would Mamiya be... She appears more than financially stable. So why would she do something so enormously risky as helping us...
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far yet. But maybe she was promised something that far exceeds the risk. Or maybe Ahara has some kind of dirt on her even?
Enough to make her help with a murder? What sort of secret would be big enough to force someone into the...
What info do we have on Mamiya anyway? Maybe we can spot a connection to a...
I'll pull her information, just...
Oh. I just thought of something else those two would have guaranteed by working together.
What's that?
If Ahara wanted to use this crime as a murder alibi, he needed it to blow up into the public eye. But if he had chosen a victim who stayed silent, then nothing would have come of it. A solid plan would need to eliminate that, which means Mamiya being an accomplice was crucial.
That's true.
Looks like Ahara pulled one over on the prosecution then. Had his accomplices right where he wanted them, even as... Once we learn how he's connected to Mamiya, we can root out the rest of his team.
Let's see. According to her file, her maiden name is Yui Suzuki. 30 years old, so that's consistent. Originally from Ota, Tokyo. attended a private high school called Kurakawa Academy, later graduated from Toto University.
Huh.
Met her husband on the job, apparently. Her husband, Taichi Mamiya, is an industrial designer at Techno Zeta Inc. 6 years ago, she gave birth to their only son, Sota-kun.
Hold on. You said she went to Kurakawa Academy? I heard that name in Ijincho. If I recall correctly... That's not where Tsukuma went, was it? Before, closing himself off to the world?
Nah, Tsukumo-san studied remotely. He told me that when we were out having drinks one night.
Wait. Tsukuma went out drinking with you?
Yeah, we had fun.
What did you guys even talk about?
Hey, why am I getting grilled all of a sudden?
I agree. This is nowhere near relevant. Yagami.
Oh, right. When I went to scope out the murder scene, there were these 3 guys watching the detectives and me. They told us they were just checking things out. They mentioned they're Kurakawa grads, too.
You have any ID on you?
Will my license work?
Akake-san, age 30.
Akaike-san, age 30. Mommy is 30 as well.
What's that got to do with anything? Aren't we trying to find a connection between
I found
Mommy?
the Kurakawa Academy website. Looks like it's in Tokyo, specifically in Ota. Pretty close to where Mamiya lived.
What?
The girls there get such cute uniforms.
You little... You want to start all over from the bar exam?
Wait, I've seen that uniform before too, actually.
Where?
On an old picture of a teacher at Seiryo High. Sawa-sensei. Ihara's son had confided in her. Is she actually a Kurakawa grad too? I don't know Sawa-sensei's exact age, but she could well be 30. Maybe all of them are even classmates.
Could this mean they're actually linked? The victim and her up-to-now unrelated assailant?
It's a tenuous link at best. Could fall apart any time, but no true detective.
A previously unseen link is established between the groper and the victim. Charting out their relationship is akin to tracing a spider's web. But with each false thread ruled out, only the improbable truth remains. Ihara orchestrated the groping as a diversion, and by tarnishing his name, he secures both an alibi and his ultimate revenge.
Hiro Mikoshiba's murder was sparked by the bullying of Toshiro Ihara, who committed suicide 4 years. The graphic video that hit the net showed the world how Toshiro's father, Akihiro Ihara, had brutally avenged. We also know the father had accomplices. On October 7th at 6:30 a.m., they forced Mikoshiba into a vehicle, took him to an abandoned building, and gravely injured him. Then, around 7:30 a.m., the time frame when Ihara killed Mikoshiba, the other conspirators were probably nearby, even though they weren't on camera.
At the same time, 30 kilometers away at Ikebukuro Station, a man who looks like Ihara is caught on camera. We'll call that guy the stand-in. The stand-in made sure he was in front of the cameras for more than an hour before boarding the 9:06 a.m. train, the same one Yui Mamiya was on. After committing sexual battery on that train, he meets the real Ihara in the camera's blind spot, and they change places. That's how he established a false alibi, and to achieve this, the victim, Yui Mamiya, had to have been in on it from the...
Sure, Mamiya. Ihara's stand-in on the train. The guys who kidnapped me, how did some troubled cop manage to recruit so many allies?
Well, one person that comes to mind, who might be the key to all this, is Yoko Sawa. She's a teacher at Seiryo High. She was the only adult Toshiro-kun ever told about the bullying, and she supervised Mikoshiba as a teacher. On top of that, she's a Kurokawa Academy graduate, same as Mamiya. Those trespassers at the murder scene were also from Kurokawa. Since they're all about the same age, it's possible...
So you're saying these classmates are also Ihara's murder...
If we consider Yoko Sawa the central link, that's very possible. We do know that as a teacher, she felt deep remorse for Toshi. Maybe she recruited her old classmates to help Ihara.
Yeah, best not to rule that out.
Why is that?
It's just... she's a really good teacher. She's passionate, responsible. She's always... I know she regrets the past. That a student died on, and now another of her students, Mikoshiba. So if it turns out she's involved in it, I doubt I'll be able to trust my own judge of character ever again. I'm going back to Ejincho tomorrow. The plan is to bring up Mamiya's name to Sawa-sensei and see how she reacts. Until then, let's not jump to conclusions.
All right.
Can I chime in real quick? I was looking into Kurokawa Academy and I stumbled across something that
What's that?
Well, it happened 13 years ago, but there was an attempted suicide. A third year jumped off the school's roof after being thoroughly humiliated.
Actually, Sawa-sensei mentioned that.
Right, that's gotta be the same case then. The student's name was Mitsuru Kusamoto. He's 30 now, but still in a...
Huh, and all that info's on the net?
It wouldn't be normally, but his mother happens to be vice minister of the Ministry of... Ever heard the name Reiko Kusamoto?
Not once.
I have. It was on the news. They were talking about her and...
Well, do you remember the uproar in the health ministry when Vice Minister Ichinose got arrested? Apparently, his successor couldn't contain the resulting chaos, which is when Kusamoto-san got tapped to lead. They couldn't afford another criminal scandal, so her promotion was out of the blue. She was a safe choice, a veteran with tenure and experience. Not to mention, her son's tragedy made people see her as a more sympathetic... She's kind of a new generation heroine, so to speak.
Huh.
Is any of that relevant to the case?
Who knows? But Reiko Kusamoto and Ihara both have children who were bullying victims. I don't think that's a connection we can afford to overlook if...
Okay, so Kusamoto's son. What exactly happened to him?
Let's see. He was bullied by a fellow third year at his school, Shinya Kawai. The records say he harassed Mitsuru-kun every day, in and out of school. Well, one time he even stuffed dirty rags in his mouth.
That's so cruel.
Yeah, and the teacher was a real piece of work. Apparently he knew, but he just smirked and said, don't...
Oh, I remember now. The media pounced on that one hard.
If they were classmates, then both Sawa-sensei and Mamiya would know about this.
And maybe because they couldn't save Mitsuru-kun, their guilt left them open to Ihara's persuasion.
But to prove that, we'll have to hear from them directly.
That'd be helpful. In the meantime, I'll be working on Ihara's appeal. It's clear they missed something important in the trial, since Ihara is apparently innocent of sexual battery, being that he was out committing murder at the time.
What started as a simple harassment case sure has blown...
Wait a minute, what?
Yo, you took your sweet time. But I got the gist of it. You're going to
Kaito-san, you do realize that only I can meet her.
I know, but if you end up taking it off campus, can you at least call me this?
Don't you understand the situation? Sawa-sensei might...
You sure you understand it? Come on, she would never do
that. A fact?
So happens I'm a great judge of character. Especially when it comes to women.
Sometimes I forget who I'm
First stop, it's gotta be Chinatown. Can't face Tsukumo on an empty stomach.
Never a dull day for you, huh, Kaito-san?
It's the selection, man. I've already worked out the math. I figure if I hit 4 or 5 places a day...
What? What's up?
Check that out. It's Akutsu.
Kamurocho thugs are looking pretty out of place here.
Yo! Akutsu! What are you fools doing in town? Hey, don't ignore me! It's Kaito! Fancy seeing you here!
I'm kinda busy here, man. Catch you later.
What an asshole. Ichincho's a long way from home. And he's traveling with a small army.
Would he have come all this way because of us?
Nah, we just caught him totally off guard. He's not out here for us. Gotta be something else.
But something's not right if they're just cruising around. It's gotta be an RK operation. He brought too many guys for it to be something more personal.
Yeah. Kamurocho streets can be tough. Maybe they gave up. Well, whatever they came out here to do, we ought to keep our noses the hell out of their business. But you better hustle. You're gonna be late for class. I'll catch you after school.